talking about that time. That time, her daughter was, one of her daughters, I don't know which one it was. I don't even know the difference between the two. That time, her daughter was...
I'm gonna make sure I post both of these videos, all three of them, whatever, on my TikTok. Y'all don't owe me an apology. But what y'all do owe is my 13-year-old child an apology.
Never said which daughter it was. So for her to go online and say, it's sad that they have to talk about a 13-year-old, just confirms that it was the 13.
Brianna Olsen is on the edge of getting canceled in the harshest way. And honestly, she brought this chaos on herself. What she did involving Ash Trevino's young daughter was completely out of line, and people are shocked. She didn't just spark drama. She accused a kid of being pregnant and started spilling private details that were never hers to begin with. Ash Trevino already shut everything down, saying the pregnancy talk was totally false. But folks online still weren't trying to hear it.
I'm talking about that time. That time, her daughter was, one of her daughters, I don't know which one it was. I don't even know the difference between the two. That time, her daughter was pregnant and I guess like either got rid of it or something. I don't know. And I guess she didn't know who the dad was. And so she was kind of like going to take the fall. If her daughter would have had the kid, she was going to take the fall and be like, oh, it's...
Ash explained that all this mess started because she went to a baby shower and bought a couple baby gifts, but fans twisted it into something wild. And even with Ash clearing it up, people kept dropping comments under her posts like, how would she know she's never around her kids? Pushing the rumor even harder. So no matter how many times Ash tried to shut it down, the story kept spinning out of control, all because Brianna decided to stir things up like it was nothing. Now people are calling this one of the most disturbing influencer moments of the entire year, and they're not holding back. Whether Brianna made it up or truly believed it, she dragged a young girl into messy grown-up internet drama. And that's something you just don't bounce back from. So here's how the whole thing really went down. Brianna Olsen, who used to be cool with Ash Trevino, hopped on live and started dropping this wild story about Ash's daughter, Evie, and that's when everything blew up. In the clip, Brianna claimed Evie was pregnant, didn't know who the dad was, and even said Ash was planning to cover for her by pretending the baby was hers. Like, what? That's not just messy talk, that's straight up crossing every line possible. You're talking about a kid here, not some influencer you're beefing with. The second that video hit TikTok, everything exploded. Some people jumped to believe her instantly, while others couldn't believe she'd say something that extreme in public. And the wildest part? It took less than a day for strangers to start zooming in on old photos and videos of Evie, claiming she looked pregnant just because one person started running her mouth. A 13-year-old ended up being analyzed and judged by millions of people she never met, all because of one reckless rumor. Here's the real deal. No matter how anyone tries to twist it, Brianna is dead wrong for this. There is no version of the story where she comes out looking good. If she made it up, then she lied on a kid just to get attention. And if she truly believed it, she still broadcast private information about a minor online for views. Either way, it's foul. And honestly, it feels like she did it out of pure spite. You can tell this wasn't about truth. It was about hurting Ash.
Trevino just popped up on my For You page for the first time in a long time, and they were calling her Grandma Ash, and I just thought they were calling her that because she looked like a grandma. Her 13-year-old daughter is pregnant. Doesn't know who the father is. Ash Trevino was on live the other day shopping for baby clothes and pretending like it was hers for a...
And if you've got problems with someone, you deal with them. You don't drag their kid into grown-up tension just because you're feeling bitter. Especially when that kid hasn't done a single thing to you and probably doesn't even understand why so much negativity is coming her way right now. So once that clip started spreading everywhere, Ash had no choice but to step in and clear the air. She jumped on her Snapchat and said straight up that her daughter was not pregnant. She told everyone the whole rumor was twisted from nothing, and she begged folks to leave her family out of this mess. Ash even broke it down, saying she only bought baby stuff because she was heading to a baby shower, but somehow, people still didn't want to believe her. It's wild how fast the internet will convince itself of anything when the story sounds dramatic enough. And even with Ash pleading for everyone to stop dragging her daughter into it, people ignored her like she wasn't even speaking. The internet just kept running with their own made-up storyline, all because Brianna couldn't stay quiet for 1 second. That's the moment everything really crossed over into something ugly. Right after Ash posted her response, social media went crazy. People were commenting nonstop, some supporting Ash, others trying to twist things to defend Brianna, and it made the whole situation even messier. And the wildest part? A few people were actually siding with Brianna. One person even wrote, "Bria only lies about her business, not other people's business." Like that somehow made what she said okay. So when someone commented, "So I believe her," I had to just stare at the screen like, what kind of logic is that? You're basically saying she lies, but only when it's convenient, and suddenly this is the one time she's telling the truth? That makes zero sense. Then another person chimed in saying, "I wholeheartedly believe Evie was pregnant because in that video with Junior, she had gained weight."
The baby stuff that I had bought was for a baby shower this weekend that I went to. Alexa, volume down, please. Actually, a baby shower that I went to this weekend. So please stop with the rumors. But yeah, so my daughter is not, you know what, I don't know why y'all.
So now gaining a little weight is proof of pregnancy? Be serious. The way people online try to diagnose someone from a couple of pixels is honestly scary. And it didn't end there. Someone else wrote, "Evie was pregnant. If you see in the old videos, she puked one morning while Ash was on live, and that's when she said she was craving pretzels," Ash told her. "Don't say that we're on live." And they said all that happened around the same time, like they were building some detective board. Are we really connecting a moment of nausea to pretzels and calling it evidence? This turned into a whole fake investigation over nothing. But finally, one comment actually made sense. They said that was not Brianna's tea to spill, especially because the kids involved are minors. And that right there is the whole point. That's what anyone with common sense has been saying from the jump. Even if Brianna truly believed the rumor, it was never her place to say anything publicly. The second you pull a kid into adult drama, everything shifts and it becomes unacceptable. But the wildest part is what came next. Instead of backing off when people started calling her out, Brianna doubled down like she wanted the spotlight even more. She didn't learn anything from the backlash. If anything, she got louder with it. She went on to post another video saying she didn't even know which daughter was pregnant and that she never mentioned the 13-year-old by name in the first place. But then, out of nowhere, she switches it up and suddenly claims she does know which one it is. She went from, "I don't even know who it was," to, "Actually, I'm positive it's this one." And she was talking about a child. That's not just reckless, that's flat out wrong on every level. What makes it even messier is that Brianna and Ash actually used to be cool. Not strangers, not enemies, friends. They hung out, filmed together, joked around, posted TikToks side by side. There are old clips of them laughing, vibing, and even defending each other. There's one video where Ash calls out one of her boyfriends and acts a little flirty on live. And guess who's right there in the background cracking up?
I'm gonna make sure I post both of these videos, all three of them, whatever, on my TikTok. Y'all don't owe me an apology. But what y'all do owe is my 13-year-old child an apology. Because y'all don't know what y'all put her.
Brianna, they had real history. So when people saw Brianna flip on Ash like this, it hit different. This wasn't some random internet stranger running their mouth. This was someone who had been inside her home, seen her kids, sat at her table, shared meals and moments with her. After their fallout, Brianna started throwing shade nonstop. Little digs about Ash's parenting, her relationships, her clothes, everything.
Never said which daughter it was. So for her to go online and say, it's sad that they have to talk about a 13-year-old, just confirms that it was the 13.
At one point, she even hinted on live that Ash wasn't exactly sober during some streams, which was another low blow she had no business saying. It got to a point where it felt like Brianna made tearing Ash down her whole brand. And when she eventually turned that same energy toward Ash's children, that's when it stopped being petty and turned straight up cruel. Now everyone is watching closely, waiting to see how this drama unfolds next. Right now, the whole internet is sitting back watching this situation explode because the more people look into it, the more layers start popping out, and every single one makes Brianna look even wilder. Folks are pulling up old clips, old screenshots, old lives, everything, just to figure out how someone who used to be so close with Ash could turn into her biggest critic overnight. And when you start looking at their history, you can see the shift so clearly. One minute Brianna was laughing with her, sitting on her couch, vibing like they were cool, and the next minute she's acting like she's exposing some deep secret. The switch up was so quick that people started wondering if something personal went down behind the scenes. And even though nobody knows the exact reason they fell out, you can tell the energy changed completely. Because Brianna didn't just drift away quietly. She started dragging Ash every chance she got. She started making these little comments on live, dropping hints about how Ash carried herself, throwing slick shots that only people who were close would even know how to say. And people noticed. They were in the comments like, why is she talking like she knows her whole life story? Because honestly, she kinda did. And that's what made this whole situation feel so messy. It wasn't coming from someone on the outside. It was coming from someone who knew her up close, in real life. And when you have that type of access to someone, people expect you to have a certain level of respect, even if y'all aren't friends anymore. But instead of taking the high road, Brianna took the loudest, most dramatic path possible. She was posting, going live, stitching videos, agreeing with hate comments. She was doing everything except letting the situation die down.
Babe,
What, puppy?
what you doing?
Missing you.
Yeah?
Ash.
And that's why more and more people started turning on her, because at some point, it stopped looking like speaking her truth and started looking like straight up obsession. Every time Ash would post something normal, like a selfie, a mom moment, even a random quote, Brianna would pop up with a shady reaction like she had been waiting for it. And once she dragged Ash's kids into the mix, that was the moment everything snapped for viewers watching. That was the moment people knew this wasn't just petty drama, this was personal, and Brianna wasn't stopping anytime soon. After Brianna dropped those heavy accusations, people expected her to disappear for a minute, maybe cool off or at least rethink how far she pushed things. But nope, she came back even louder, acting like she was the one being attacked. She went live again, saying people were twisting her words, saying she wasn't trying to expose anything and that she was just sharing what she heard, which made people even more frustrated because she knew exactly what she was doing. She didn't just hint at something. She made a whole detailed story, and now she wanted to pretend she was just repeating rumors? The internet was not buying that. Comment sections were blowing up with people calling her out for trying too hard to play the victim after she caused the entire mess. And instead of stepping back, she kept throwing more shade, saying things like, "I never mentioned any names, so if people assume something, that's on them." But the thing is, everyone knew exactly who she meant because she made it obvious. It was one of those moments where somebody tries to be slick but ends up making themselves look worse because the excuses don't match the energy they had before. Meanwhile, Ash stayed calm compared to how messy the situation got. She kept posting about her day, spending time with her family, responding only when necessary, trying to shut everything down without adding more fuel. People respected that, and it made Brianna look even more unhinged by comparison. It was like the more Ash tried to move on, the more Brianna tried to pull her back into drama. Viewers were calling it out like, why does Brianna only post when Ash posts? Because it was starting to look like she was watching everything Ash did just to have something to react to. And the irony? The more Brianna spoke, the more her story cracked under pressure.
Walked up off Dos Equis, and then she gets on live and just acts a fool. And look, been there, done that, bitch. I've had my times. All right? But like, still at this age, really, girl? Really, this time, for real? Oh my God. Like, there's no way. Like, you have everything that you want. Why wouldn't you just straighten up? Like, you have, like, obviously money, like, right? Or so she claims. You have money, you have a man, right? Like, why wouldn't you go, like, do the things that you...
Details changed, timelines shifted, and people who originally believed her started backing off because it was clear something wasn't adding up. Some even said it felt like Brianna got too deep into the lie and didn't know how to back out anymore without losing face. And at that point, folks realized this wasn't just gossip. This was someone trying so hard to stay relevant in a storyline she created, even if it meant dragging innocent people along with her. And that's when the tide started turning completely. Now everyone's wondering the same thing. Will Brianna actually deal with real consequences? Or is this gonna fade away like every other influencer meltdown? Because one thing people know for sure is the internet does not forget, especially when the person who got hurt is a young girl who never asked to be dragged into anyone's spotlight. That's not something folks just move on from, and the vibe online proves it. Ash has gone quiet again, probably doing what any parent would do, protecting her daughter and keeping her out of the chaos. But her fans aren't letting this slide at all. They're calling for accountability, demanding Brianna own up to everything she said. And some are even talking about whether legal action could happen since she spread private and possibly false information about a minor. And honestly, that might be the direction this is headed, because this isn't just bad press. This is the type of move that can change someone's whole career. If this backlash keeps growing the way it is right now, Brianna Olsen might not just be canceled online. She might be done for real, with no comeback waiting around the corner. And the wild part is, she brought all this heat on herself when she decided to drag a kid into grown folks' drama. So, before you dip, make sure you smash that like button if you're riding with us, tap subscribe if you're a real one, and hit that notification bell so you don't miss a single messy update. Trust me, you're gonna want to be here for the next video.